This is Coach Stevens, men head coach of cross country for Anderson University. We're going to be led by our seniors RJ Claycomb and Kaylin Bruner, junior Jonah Odell, and sophomore Ian Leatherman. Then the rest of the band of our Merry Raven men will follow. We're just going to try and come out and compete the best that we can on that day. Hopefully all goes great. Hello, this is Coach Stevens, women's head cross country coach for Anderson University. We're going to be led by senior Ashley King, juniors Tess Wise and Sarah Rep, and the rest of our married ladies. We're just going to come out, compete the best we can for what's going to be for that day, and hope things go well.
Well, first I'd like to just give a shout out to the Manchester coaches and explain that I'm extra excited about this particular conference meet because they're the hosts. When you take a team off a bus, it should feel special. It should feel like a championship. That helps to set the tone. And just looking at all the advanced preparations that I see the Manchester coaches doing, I think that's going to do a lot to enhance the expectations we have for our athletes. Because as I think Jim would agree with me, we have some pretty high expectations.
Yeah. When it comes to team finishes, I think we have the potential to have the best team finishes in the history of the program in this conference. That being said, it's going to be amazingly competitive in both genders. I would say on the women we could be anywhere from first to fourth or fifth. It depends upon how well we race and obviously how well our competition races. I think our ladies are primed to really get a great race, but obviously race day will tell whether that comes to fruition or not. On the men's side...
Well, let me interrupt there for the women just a second. I think we were seeing a lot of momentum in the first couple meets of the season, and then we all kind of got a scare at All Ohio. It's like we went flat. And the reason my expectations have taken a big rebound is just seeing what the women's team in particular did at the Oberlin meet this past weekend. It was the first time we had gone up against other teams in the conference, and ironically, they were Rose-Hulman and Manchester. We ended up with the best team finish we'd ever had at Oberlin, but interestingly, 14th place was Rose, 15th place was Manchester, 16th place was Bluffton. But it was the attitude, the aggressiveness, the just get after it attitude the women took. And we were racing a woman down with a sprained ankle. So I think if the ladies, the challenge that we've given them is rise, ladies. Rise to the level of coaching you get. Rise to the level of passion that we put into you. Do what you did at Oberlin, just do it a little bit better. And they've really taken that to heart in these last couple days of practices. And I have confidence they're going to take it out there on race day. As far as I'm concerned, no matter what happens, if those women dig down and give the very best they have that day, wherever they end up in the rankings at the end of the day, I'm going to be proud of them if they dig down and give their best. Now, you were going to talk about the guys.
The guys... First place is probably, as a team, is probably out of reach for anybody in the conference, other than, of course, Rose-Hulman, who looks like by far the strongest team within the conference. They have depth, they have quality up front. They probably won't produce the first place individual. Manchester's number one looks like a good likelihood, or possibly one of the Hanover guys, but they are going to have 5 or 6 guys within the top 12, maybe more. Our task is then going to be see how close we can get to them, and can we get within second, third, or fourth places? Those are possibilities. Last year we were a fourth place team. I think this team is not as deep as last year's, but I think we have some really good esprit de corps, and I think if we come together at just the right time, which hopefully is next Saturday, I think there's a reasonably good possibility that, yes, we could be in one of those top 3, definitely top 4 positions. But again, just like with the ladies, it's going to be a very, very competitive conference outside of that first place. Individually, on the women, I think Alexis Cash has every reason to think that she can be in the top three. Where within that top three, I'm not going to make a prediction, but I think she has every reason to believe that she can be. And I think Jenny Matson could be knocking on the door at
Not
that
too
top
far
three.
off her.
Yeah. On the men's side, Dakota Frost is by far our number one runner, has been all season. With the depth of Rose, breaking into the top three might be problematic, but I don't rule it out.
But I could see Dakota as a definite top 10. And top 10 are all conference.
Yeah, I could see him as a
top 12.
I could see him likely as a top 5, actually.
Yeah. And that's something that really is a team goal. As many people as we can have in the top 12 of each gender to earn those all-conference honors, 13th through 20th, honorable mention. So that's out there as a goal as well. I'm hoping for good weather. We haven't been to Manchester's course yet. We don't really know the terrain. We're going over next Friday, take a good look at it. But where I started, I'm excited not only for the possibilities I see for our team, but I'm excited for where we're going and who's put it on, because I very much trust that Coach Cash Dollar and Coach Lambert are going to give us a first-rate championship that's going to feel special for the kids. And face it, that's what it's all about.
Just give us a review on how your season looked so far, some of the top kids that you have so far this season.
On the women's side, battling a lot of injury right now. Still, top three have done extremely well pretty much every race. Pack running's been pretty strong. When we get into the conference championships, we'll be able to see them kind of really run together pretty well, and then just kind of see how we finish as a team coming up back from those injuries. And on the guys' side, a little bit more of a complete team, a little bit more, again, ups and downs a little bit with injuries, and a lot of freshmen just kind of learning their way through the race. But should be pretty solid. Top three again will be another good group, and just like in any conference championship, just trying to get to every last point you can and every single person you can at every lap. But it should be an exciting time. It's always a good race, good competition, and look forward to see what the team can do.
Are there any individuals that kind of stand out for you right now that you're looking to maybe get or be up battling for all HCAC recognition, stuff like that?
I think technically not a freshman, but a transfer, Olivia Fett, hasn't ran in a couple years, but came in running pretty strong. She's gotten better every race, as she's gotten more confidence. So I think if she puts herself in position early, she's going to give herself a pretty good chance to make a good run at a strong finish.
First, Claire, your thoughts on the women's 6K championship?
Yeah, we're excited. We've had a good season of the women's team coming together, and we're ready to roll. I think all our pieces at the right time. I think there are several teams that are probably having a similar conversation this week, but we think we can be in that conversation, in the fight to win it. So that's what we're hoping to do, come and fight for it.
Sounds like little Nathan Hewitt is excited as well.
Yes, he is.
Rob, your thoughts on the men's 8K championship held at Manchester this weekend?
It's going to be awesome. We got a great front five right now, and a bunch of guys who are ready to fight for an opportunity to win the championship, which will be really cool. Last year we were in a completely different space, but we've done a lot of hard work to get to the point where we're ready to challenge up front and see where the chips fall. So.
And then Claire, talking about some of the individuals for the men. Who should teams look out for the Quaker men this weekend?
We have returning fifth year, Gabe Pink, and he came back with an eye on cross country this fall. So he is certainly invested and looking forward to a good race. And then we have freshman Nate Papachristos, who's had a great season as well. The two of them have gone back and forth a whole lot. So I'd say those two are ready to look out for each other and everyone else.
And then Rob, give us some people to spotlight for the Quaker women this weekend.
So our women basically have a front four, which is really cool. So Rachel Wilkins, Ellie Hayland, Anna Sosa-Ebert, and Mairead Blattner are front four, which will provide us a really good front strike, which will be pretty cool. So.
And then for either one of you, your team has raced in several distances, meets of I think 5K, 6K, 8K. Talk about the sort of build up to, this conference championship meet and then on to regionals next week. But how do you sort of get your team ready and taper to build up towards this championship?
I think in terms of the different distances, it's been nice for them to have, a little, like, they got to be a little adaptable. They got to take some risks in different situations, and so that's a fun way to go through this season. I think it's important. And in terms of, being ready for this, I think honestly, we just want to come in with legs that can race. So don't try and do too much. There's no magic workout. There's no last piece that we still have to do. So, we've done a lot of work. They put in the work over the summer and through the season, and now it's kind of just, for us, don't mess it up.
We'll start with the men. Up front has been sophomore Clayton Brumfield all season. He had finished 8th last year. Along with him has been sophomore Blaine Connors, who's been 15 and 20 seconds behind Clayton all season, so that's been a good 1-2 punch for us. We're expecting those guys to be, anywhere from top 10 to top 20, this year as well. Coming in our 3, 4, 5, freshman Chris Graham, Heath Dugan Jr. and Logan Vandermark, and JT Sargent, who's kind of been around that 5-6 spot as well. As far as the team goes, we're preseason number 7. I don't think we've had our best race yet this year, but a good day, could land us anywhere from, 4th to 6th at this year's meet. Switching over to the women, Krista Robinson, freshman, she's been our front runner all season. She's another one who could be, top 10, top 12 on a good day. Senior Rachel Bowden, has really moved up throughout the season. Has really played a big part on our team. She's one who could maybe, crack that top 20. So she's been, starting to close that gap between her and Krista. Following those two up, we have junior Megan Yenser, junior Monica Doherty, and freshman Grace Esterline. They've kind of been trading spots, throughout that, 3 to 5 range. Even sophomore Jayla Collins has been getting in the mix as well. Same thing for the women, also preseason, number 7, basically the same thing as the men, and I think a good day could land us anywhere from 4th to 6th, so we're hoping to have our best meet next weekend. As far as the course goes at Manchester, from what we've heard, pretty flat and fair course in and around their campus there. None of us have seen the course, but we've heard good things from the rest of the conference as far as conditions go. As everyone knows, it's been a very warm, humid season. We're looking forward to having a meet under 70 degrees. So everything should be coming together as far as the competition goes. We have seen or have been able to have a lot of head-to-head competition within the conference this year, with a lot of teams in the conference being at the Indiana Intercollegiates, and a lot of people or teams being at Wilmington last weekend as well. So we have had some comparisons to make with head-to-head matchups, but this will be the first time, obviously, all season that all 10 squads will be together at the same time. So we're looking forward to a great meet.
Here with Hanover cross country coach Brady Wells as the Hanover men's cross country team prepares for the conference championship this Saturday, October 28th, in North Manchester, Indiana. Now, Coach, let's start here. The team's had a lot of highlights this year, and normally you say you've had a lot of ups and downs, but this year it's been a lot of ups and not many downs. What are some of your overall thoughts on the men's side?
Been really pleased with the season so far. We've had a lot of good consistency from our top group of runners. We've had some different guys kind of filling in some of those other scoring spots. We've been really pleased with the progress we've made. We're really happy with where we're at right now going into the conference championship, and are really looking forward to being able to run a great race on Saturday.
Now, the season started with just a 2-team event here on our campus. The team did win. We won. We beat the Indiana University East. What does that do for the confidence at the beginning of the year as you move forward?
I think that first meet of the year is obviously a little bit of a rust buster for us, and to be able to come out and not only win the meet, but be able to run well. We only ran 6K that day, so we didn't even run the full 8K. But just to get out and be able to have some team success, feel like we were in a good spot to get the season started, I think was a good boost for us going into the rest of the year.
Now, the last 3 races have come in larger events, including the Indiana Intercollegiate, the Greater Louisville Classic, and the Wilmington Fall Classic. The team's had success in all three, especially the Greater Louisville Classic, where we had our first 3 top 20 finishers in program history at the event. And Joe Rector, Jacob Hedrick, and Hayden Veach. What does that do for the 3 of them as they move closer to the conference championship?
I think they've really drawn confidence off of each other over the course of the year. Those 3 had a great summer of preparation. They came into camp in really good shape. And really, I think came into camp with a very dedicated mindset to some big goals that they had for the season and for themselves. So it's been really fun to kind of watch them continue to progress as the year's gone along, to be able, like I said, draw some confidence off of each other, and then to be able to see those results in some of these bigger races that we've had.
Now, Jacob Hedrick, 2-time HCAC Athlete of the Week this fall. Just how pleased are you with his performance this season?
Jacob has worked so hard, and that's the thing for me as a coach, to watch those kids that come out and to put the time in and dedicate themselves in all the facets of their life to try to get the most out of their abilities. And Jacob is one of those kids. He's done a great job this year. He's got a ton of confidence right now. He's very, very fit, and he's ready to go on Saturday. And I'm hoping that he's ready to pop another big one.
Joe Rector, the lone senior on both the men's and women's side. What has he just meant to the program over the last 4 years?
Joe came in as a freshman and I think established himself right away as one of the best runners in the conference and in the region here. And just the steadiness that we have seen from him. And, even last year, he got mono and missed the last part of cross-country season and kind of bothered him a little bit into early track. Just the steadiness by which he goes about doing his job and coming into work every day. And, he's a kid that has really raised the bar for our program and allowed people like Jacob and Hayden and some of these guys to follow. And so I really look at him as a guy that has kind of helped us turn the corner with our program to the point where we feel like we can be in a position to battle for a conference championship.
Now the team seems to be getting stronger as the season goes on and the confidence continues to grow. And we'll throw this out there. The last time the men have won a cross-country conference championship was in 1977. What are your expectations this weekend for the men?
Our men are going to go out and they hope to battle for the championship. There's no question about that. We feel like we're as prepared right now as we've been at any point during the season. I think our guys have a lot of confidence. I think our guys are in a situation where they know what's out there. And obviously one of their goals coming into the season was to be able to battle for that championship. We're at that point now. It's race week, and I think they're ready to go. So we'll see what happens on Saturday.
The team hasn't really run at Manchester here recently, so what do you know about the course, and how have you been preparing the team for this weekend?
It's a little bit different course in the fact that it's all on campus. It's going to be a multiple loop course. There's some differences there in terms of you're gonna cross the road a couple of times. You're kind of around their sports facilities back by the football field and baseball field and things like that. I think it's a course that will run pretty fast. It doesn't seem to be really hilly. There are several turns in the course with a little bit of some technical stuff there. So we've kind of been working through that aspect of preparing for a course that is going to maybe break up a little bit of rhythm every now and then with some of the turns and things like that. And I think our kids will be well prepared once we get there.
And let's go ahead and dive into the women's side here a little bit. The team's run 4 times this year, so what are some of your overall thoughts on the squad this fall?
It's been a challenging year for us on the women. We've dealt with a lot of injury and illness and things like that, so we really haven't felt like we've been able to put our best 5 or 6 out there at the same time very often this year. We're going to go into the conference meet a little banged up. Our top 3 are in good shape. We've had some injury stuff with the 4 and 5 area. So we're really going to be looking at trying to see what we can do to kind of pick up the back end of our scorers, see if they can pull up a little bit, have a good meet for us. I think our top 3 are probably in the best shape they've been in all year long. So we're really looking forward to see what they can do.
Now, your last 3 races have come in some larger events, such as the Indiana Intercollegiate, the Greater Louisville Classic, and the Jenna Strong Wilmington Fall Classic. How do some of these larger races help the team prepare for the conference championship?
I think for us, obviously, you got a lot of good competition. You're going to run against some really strong teams and some strong individuals. Most of our season is based on preparation to get ready for the championship season. The conference, the regional are the two big meets that we prepare for all year long. So the meets leading up to that are part of our training. They're part of our experience in terms of getting race ready. It's more now about being able to go out and to compete here at the conference level and to use those experiences that we've had throughout the course of the season to be able to draw on those once we get to the conference and regional.
Now, the women have found some success in the conference championship recently, including championships in 2013 and 14. But there's no seniors on this year's squad. But the team did host last year's conference championship, and some of your runners have won a conference championship in track and field this past spring. How does that help them as they get prepared for this Saturday?
I think a lot of them, our top three especially, are drawing a lot of confidence off of what they did in track season, and we've seen that throughout the course of the season. I think they made a big jump last spring, and they've been able to carry that into the fall. And we're really looking for some big races from them on Saturday. I think all three of them are well prepared to go in and to battle for some all-conference honors there. The rest of the team, very, very young, very inexperienced. For I think all but one of them, this is going to be their first go-round in a conference championship. So a little bit of a wild card there in terms of what to expect and how they handle that situation, how they handle that moment. But we feel like they're going to be prepared and ready to go.
And one of your dual sport athletes, Morgan Hamilton, who runs track and cross country, she's led the squad 3 times this fall. And Ariel Barlow led the team the other race. What are sort of your expectations for the two of them and the rest of the squad as you prepare for this Saturday?
I think with Morgan and Ariel both, they're running their best at this point right now. Every meet they have continued to improve, and what we're looking for them is their ability to go out and put their best race together on Saturday. Like I said, I think both of them could definitely battle for all conference honors. I really feel like their best races are still in front of them, and we've kind of been on the verge the last couple races of one of them just being ready to pop a really big one and go for it. So I think both of them are very mentally ready. I know they're physically ready, and we look for big races for both of them.
Coach, first of all, thanks for joining us. And just give us a little bit of a brief overview of what the race will entail, what the start time is, and a little bit about the course this year.
Yeah, great. First off, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time out here, Blake, and the press that the cross country meet has gotten over the last few weeks. Sure. I appreciate your hard work. The men's race will start at 11. It's 8,000 meters, so just a touch short of 5 miles. And then the women's race will start at noon. It's 6,000 meters, so 3.6, 3.7 miles. The course will be run primarily or exclusively here on campus. It'll start behind our Physical Education Recreation Center, and it'll start and finish back there, and it should be an exciting time for us.
So taking a look now at the event itself, I know that you and the rest of the coaching staff take great pride in being able to host something like this at Manchester University. What does it mean to you individually and as a program to be able to host something like this?
So, the last time we hosted cross country conference was in 2008, the year before I got here. It's been an interesting experience. It's great for our student athletes to be able to run at home. It's great for our athletic department to be able to showcase our beautiful campus, and the support that we have from our administration here has been amazing. So I'm just very lucky to be one small piece of all of that.
Sure.
And hopefully we can put on a good meet for the rest of the conference schools, and hopefully I'm praying for nice weather.
Great. And taking a look at this year in particular, there is something very unique that is going to happen. We are going to be live streaming the cross country championships, and this is, as I understand it, the first time that this has ever been done. So can you tell us how the idea came to fruition and maybe a little bit about how people can access that link?
Yeah, it was something that Coach Cashdown and I dreamed up on a whim because, the NCAA has been doing a great job live streaming the national championships for the last couple of years. And so it was something we said, hey, this would be cool if we could do it. And left it to our sports information department and ITS to kind of figure out the logistics and see if that's possible. And they've risen to the occasion and they've been fantastic. So the link should be on our homepage, and it should be really easy to follow. We're going to have a couple cameras set up all over campus, including live commentary, so it should be great.
All right, well, that's great news to hear. Taking a look at the field this year, how are the teams going to stack up? What's the outlook for the men's and women's side in terms of who's going to be the top competitors?
You know, the league every year is getting better and better. I'm just excited to be a part of that. I know that there's a lot of great coaches in the league, and they'll have their teams ready to go. And so right now I'm focused on things that we can control, and for me that's of course as nice as I can make it, and as my team is ready to go as we can be. Hopefully I put a team on the line that's the best that they've ever been throughout the season, and we'll just kind of have to see what shakes out from there.
All right, well, great. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to come here and be with us today. Again, fans at home, 2017 HCAC Men's and Women's Cross Country Championships next Saturday, October the 28th, again starting at 11 a.m., and we'll have that on live stream for all of you back at home. We hope to see you there.
Here with Tina Blakely, the Mount St. Joseph head cross-country coach here at Mount St. Joe. Tina, congratulations on your 2017 season so far.
Thank you.
First off, I want to ask you about your young athletes. What can you say about the young people on the team that are coming up?
I'm very fortunate to have the incoming class that I have. Not only do they bring their athleticism with experience and with positivity, but they also bring their personalities to the team, which have definitely created even more of an exciting, fun team to coach.
All right, Tina, what can you say about the upperclassmen on your team and how they've shown leadership this season?
Oh, it's been fantastic, especially considering the fact that we have a lot of juniors on the team, and they've made the transition for our incoming freshmen almost seamless, especially for the men's team, because those guys, as you know, have to go from learning how to train and race a 5K to an 8K. But overall, for both the men and the women's team, the upperclassmen have really done a phenomenal job of making that transition for them into college athletics seem almost like it's nothing.
Awesome. All right, how can you say pack running has been such a successful tool for both of your teams, men and women?
I strongly encourage pack running with the men and women's team, not only from the perspective of it helps bonding the team together, but also encourages friendly competition. And as you and I both know, that at the college level, they really need to be consistently focused on not just their training, but how to prepare for competition. And I believe that pack running helps them do that. A lot of times, not only will I create the packs by, let's say, their times, but also by their attitudes. A lot of times I might have an athlete who isn't the strongest runner from a time perspective, but has a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and I may put them in a pack that I wouldn't normally put them in, just to give them a little bit of variety in their training.
All right, Tina, give us a little overview of your season so far, and then tell us about some expectations that you have for the upcoming HCAC Championship meet.
I feel really good about this season. We started off with our first meet hosted by Franklin. We always enjoy that meet. It's usually a good group of teams that we compete against. Great season opener, allows all the athletes the opportunity to kind of get their racing legs back under them. So that's always fun. And then our next meet was at the University of Notre Dame, which is a phenomenal meet. It's so exciting. So many teams from all over the United States. It can be a little bit of an intimidating factor for our freshmen because it is such a large meet. But our freshmen, I think because of their relationship with the upperclassmen this year, they got into that meet and they were ready to go. And then our next meet was our home meet, which I always enjoy hosting that. It was a bit hot that night, so we had to make some adjustments on the distances and that type of thing. But every team that was there adjusted well to the changes that we had to make, and we went from there. And then last week's meet was at Wilmington, which again, kind of like the University of Notre Dame, is such a great meet for us to go to.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a true cross-country course, and we really enjoy that. And the freshmen, obviously, they took right to it. This upcoming weekend, we're at Asbury. We've never been to this meet before. It's down in the horse park country, so we're looking forward to what that meet will bring to us. But overall, I would say for the entire season, we have been making improvements every single week, and I can't ask for anything more than that. As far as what that means for us going into conference championship, our main goal every season is always to do our best at conference. So every meet that I schedule and every training that we do and every meet that we compete in is to prepare us for that. And I feel very strongly that the athletes on the team who will be representing us will be bringing forth their best effort at conference.
Coach, as you look ahead, before you talk specifically on your teams, just your overall thought on the men's and women's teams this year and the progress they've made since August.
We've I changed up every year. You have to kind of change up your training to reflect who you have at your disposal, and we kind of simplified things a little bit this year. We basically have 3 workouts that we kind of cycle through in every 2-week cycle between races, and so the part of the reason is I wanted the athletes to kind of feel themselves improve session to session throughout the year. And I think for this group, it's worked really well. The other thing is we've been, for the most part, healthy, and especially on the women's side, and that's been real gratifying to see as a coach. I don't have a system or a training system. The training always again reflects who we have here at Rose-Hulman, and that can change any given year. But I am, proud of myself and our staff because I think we're always learning. The whole summer is basically you're beginning a new recruiting cycle, but you're digging down and you're trying to learn. And it takes a lot of review just to kind of figure out what works and what did not work. And so we make adjustments accordingly, and it feels like right now things are working really well.
The women's team picked 4th in the preseason poll, but really a team that you're pretty excited about heading into this meet and has really had some outstanding accomplishments so far this fall.
It's been a really fun group to work with, very positive. When I took this job, the saying in Division One, my whole previous career had been in Division One, and the saying in the coaching ranks there is it takes 3 years. If you can't get it done in 3 years, you're going to have a really tough time getting it going. I was corrected again and again my first year here by my awesome coworkers on it takes 5 in Division 3, and they were totally correct. You don't have a place like Rose-Hulman, we can't get junior college transfers. We can't inflict change as quickly, with scholarships. Obviously, with scholarships you can do that. So this is my 5th year, and last year we noticed in track things start to shift with our women's program, our distance women, and so every woman that we took to the conference meet outdoors scored. We took down a lot of school records, and we just had scored more across our events than we had ever had previously on the women's distance side. So we were really upbeat with our potential going into the season, and with keeping everybody healthy, things are kind of really clicking right now. The hallmark of this team right now is we've had 2 great front runners with Camille and Callie, and then we've had this really nice tight gap between our 3rd runner and our 6th, 7th runner. So really we have kind of 9 women in play for that 3rd through 5th spot, but we've had this really nice, we keep track of gaps, not traditional 1 to 5 gap, but our kind of average individual gap between each spot, and our average individual gap 3 to 6 has been outstanding on the women's team this year. So that's been the hallmark. That's been our kind of our heartbeat is our women back in the trenches, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th this season.
And on the men's side, it's been an outstanding season. Team won the Indiana Little State Championship, among other things. Talk about this squad.
Totally different makeup than the women's. We have really 5 men right now with kind of front runner experience. Matt Stevenow has had a great year, really tough. Kennedy Schneiders, Alton Anspaugh, Matt Hill, and Walt Deering all have front runner experience. And then we have it's a cool problem to have. We've got 9 men vying for kind of our 5, 6, 7 spot on any given day, and so workouts are really fun right now, just to have that kind of depth. So again, great problem to have, that we have 9 men vying for that really kind of 5, 6, 7 spot. But things are really kind of, they're beginning to sort themselves out in workouts. Our depth has been outstanding. Again, we've stayed for the most part healthy. A few small hiccups, but seniors have provided great leadership. And, we've always said as coaches, runners make runners. You can guide an ethic as a coach, but your upperclassmen will dictate to the freshmen, sophomores, newcomers on how to behave, how to function and how to succeed, whether it's in racing or training or how you live your life in the 22 and a half hours away from practice every day. So our senior leadership has been outstanding on the men and the women's teams this year.
Last question. You're heading to Manchester for the championship, and I know you're excited about all the work that this crew from Manchester's put into this event.
I really enjoy working with the Manchester staff. I mean, they're outstanding professionals. Coach Cash Dollar, Coach Lambert. I've been working on this. I actually went up and visited the course this summer, and it's anytime you lay over a 4-mile course and a 5-mile course onto a campus, it has some unique features. There's a lot of turns. There's mixtures of long straightaways, unbroken straightaways, and there's an area where you go into the woods, and it's basically single track running, highly technical running. So it throws a lot at you. It's not like Earlham from a few years ago that had some really huge landmark hills. But I think it's a different type of technical course. But we're really excited. We've been training and thinking of that course throughout the season. From the way in which we write workouts, and you try to set the athletes up for the greatest amount of success as possible by running workouts that kind of mimic the layout of Manchester's course. But we're really excited. I think Manchester's going to put on a true championship event. And the feedback from Coach Cash Dollar and Coach Lambert has been outstanding with regards to what they're going to supply as far as a championship experience. So we're really excited.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Coach, in what ways have you seen your team evolve from the last time we spoke at the start of the season in August until now?
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal season so far. We've seen a lot of, obviously there's some adjustment getting to know your athletes and athletes getting to know their coaches, but I think that process has been very smooth so far. The kids are super easy to work with. They bought into the process. They really believe in what we're trying to do, and I think that's led them to have some really great results. So far, we've had a really great season of just laying down some culture and establishing a positive environment in our program.
This being your first head coaching position, bringing a lot of knowledge both from Allegheny as well as North Central, there's been a lot for you to glean as well as you get to know and coach your runners throughout these first couple of months. What sort of educational benefits have you obtained through this first season?
The biggest thing that I always try to communicate to my athletes is that one of the most important things is buying into the program and buying into each other, and that's been a big part of what we're emphasizing this year is the athletes buying into each other and trying to help each other along, pull each other along, hold each other accountable. Educationally, I think, and culturally, that has been a huge thing that we've been trying to work on this year.
How much fun have you been having with this team trying to push them to a new level? And we talked about how they've improved on their times. We've seen really weekly improvements from the majority of your runners.
Yeah, PRs never get old. They never get old. It doesn't matter how many times you do it or what level they're at. A PR is super fun at any day of the week, any time of the season. So that's been incredibly fun, and I think because of that, our season has kind of garnered a lot of momentum as we're going throughout the season, and as people are PRing, that momentum's just been growing. So it's been a great season for that.
On the women's side, it's led by a cadre of veterans. Liz Deaton has been the pace setter for the Pioneers this fall, and the return of Rebecca Factor for your team last year or last week was a really big boost. What have those provided to your teams, starting with Rebecca both before she returned and then on the trails last season where it was like she never left?
Yeah, obviously it's very helpful to have some upperclassmen that have had racing experience at conference, regional, national level races. So having Liz Deaton back is a huge thing that's really helped our freshmen come along, because more than half our roster is freshmen. So she's been a huge asset to just kind of showing them the ropes and helping them along. And obviously Rebecca is someone that just has like boundless energy and just always works to get that energy and excitement up. So she's been a huge help as well.
And on the men's side, we've seen Daryl Korn really be your pace setter for most of the season. This being his first season in college athletics, how would you rate his progression?
He honestly surprised me a lot last week. We did a couple weeks of really hard workouts in there just to try to get ready for the conference meet, and even despite that really difficult workout series, he PR'd by over a minute last week. And so as we're getting ready to taper for the conference meet, sky's the limit. I really think he could be, a surprise person on the conference.
You've said in passing, whether it's lunchtime, wherever on campus, this team's really progressed nicely for you and hit some certain goals. Coming up, this being a conference championship, what are your goals for this particular weekend?
Well, I think because we do have a lot of freshmen, a lot of growth and development happening, I'm not trying to put too many expectations on the freshmen and on the team as a whole as we come into our first real conference meet as a program here. I think we're just trying to be at a point where we focus on ourselves, and if they run to the capability that we think they can run, the results will take care of themselves. So we're trying to keep an open mind here.